Good evening, everybody. I'm Noreen McClendon, and I'm your host and facilitator, and we are at Free to Heal, where we are formerly incarcerated and loved ones, and we come together every week so we can heal from the wounds that were inflicted upon all of us through mass incarceration. And so tonight, from my workbook of Her People Highway, I wanted to, and it's good because we have somebody on kind of new that is really interested in or really wants to know about relationships. Okay, so for that, but it's funny that I selected this before I knew what it was. But anyway, there are a couple of questions in my workbook. But I want you to realize when I say relationships, it's not just intimate partner relationships. Okay, even though the question may be phrased in that way, I want you to think about this. I want all of us to think about this in a broader context, okay? Because good principles go across all sorts of, and they just hold true because they're true, okay? And so the first question is, what must a person invest in you to get access to your talents, gifts, resources, body, and love? And then, because in my book, in Her People Highway, I talk about it, I had to start thinking of myself like a business. I had to think of myself, refer to myself and think of myself as a business. And so if you think of yourself as a business, what are the best services you have available to an intimate partner or a relationship? Because oftentimes people want to get a lot out of a relationship, but they never talk about what they want to be in that relationship or what they want to give in a relationship. And so that is the question for us for the evening. What must a person invest in you to get access to your talents, your resources, and please, let me scream, your body? Oh my gosh. What do they have to do to get some? And how long do they have to do that before they get access to all that? Because I'm going to tell you from here, there was a time when I really didn't value myself enough. I was very young, didn't value myself. I write about it in the book that I didn't have an example of what I should be looking for. My mother, when my parents divorced, she didn't have men around us, around her children. She just didn't do it, which is commendable, and I understand why. But on the other side of that, I'm the youngest of 6, and I was a teenager. I was like 14 before she actually had a boyfriend that she allowed me to know that was her boyfriend, and she incorporated him and incorporated me in his life and that kind of thing. That was a few years from 3 years from leaving home. But I had no idea what to require, what to look for. She was good at telling me what not to do and what not to take or subject myself to. There were a couple basics. One, violence was never going to be acceptable for her. And she taught me that, no. And I found out recently, too, from one of her friends who was my auntie, that she was the one that actually made my dad leave my house because he would hit my mom. I knew one time when I was young, that my mom woke us up for school and she called us in her bedroom and she said she had to call us in because her eye was blank and sitting out like this. And she almost lost her sight in her eye that night when he had beat her that night. He had come to the house and he told her that if he couldn't have her, he was going to ruin her face so nobody else could have her. And so she had to tell us what was going on. So that part I knew enough about what not to do. I knew that I wasn't supposed to take care of a man. I knew that. But in terms of what to expect or what to do, I just didn't know. Another thing that she was very, Diane and I laugh about this all the time, how both of our mothers would say things to us when we were kids that we had no idea what they were talking about. So I was about 12 years old, and She proceeds to tell me, if ever, you will only have sex with men that you want to have sex with. So that if you're walking down the street and they say to you, they tell them boy in the corner, I had her, you could turn around and say, no, I had you. Yeah. So she told me that, but I didn't even know what she was talking about. Yeah. She also went on to tell me, yeah, they always make it seem like sex is all that great. She said, but they don't tell you the time that he on top of you humping and sweating and you don't feel that. And you thinking, is this over yet? Wow. Mind you, listen, I'm 12. Wow. I'm 12.
That's why I didn't want to hook her.
Okay. So 1 year for Pike's birthday, we offered to give him a hooker. And he said, no, he didn't want no hooker, but he was afraid he went to the court. Well, we did offer. That was our offer for his birthday present.
Gave a chance.
We gave a chance we wanted to. But it was funny because I'm thinking, what? But when I look back on it, I understand now why she did it. Is because when she took in my 3 cousins, she already had 3 of her own kids. She took in my cousins because our parents, both of their parents, and my dad got on heroin. And she took the kids, put my dad out, and took the kids. The youngest one got pregnant at 15 and hid it from her. So she was making sure with me, I'm about 8 years younger than her, that no, that's not going to happen with you. She told me, if you want to have sex, you can at any time. All you got to do is tell me, let me be the first to know so that I can take you to get birth control. Because when I was coming up, we didn't have AIDS and all that kind of stuff. I'm old enough that I like to refer to and I see your hand, I like to refer to my time as the last sexually free people, right? The worst thing I was worried about was pregnancy and getting gonorrhea. So
you was in that then.
You could fix with penicillin, right? It was just a shock. That was it. And that's it. So now, again, by the time I went to college, my freshman year of college is the first time we started hearing about herpes, right? That was like my freshman year, I remember. That was like 1981. And then shortly after that, there was AIDS. So the sexual freedom revolution, that was it. I think I was the last generation of that. But you wanted to say something, Pike?
Yeah, you know how I talk about Joycey, my sister in Arkansas? She tells her when she got married, she told her husband, you hit me once, I'm gone. He did. Then she got married later on, and she told him. But he was smart enough never to hit her.
Yeah.
And he wasn't going to mess with me because you know how I was.
Yeah.
And, but the reason she did that, I told you about my dad and mother, how they used to come home from the bar and they'd be fighting and cussing and carrying on.
Yeah.
And Joycey said, she's not going to live like that.
Yeah.
And
you know, I want to say right there too, Pike, is that for anybody that's listening, people often say, I'm going to stay in this marriage for the kids. And I don't think that's a good thing. I don't think that's a good policy.
It's not at all.
I really don't. I don't, because the best thing you can be for your children is happy and healthy.
And honest.
Mentally healthy and honest, yeah. So if you're mentally, emotionally healthy, then that's the best thing you can do. You could be the best parent for them. Being in a situation, because let me tell you something. There are some people who think we don't argue in front of the kids, but they feel it. They feel the tension in the air. They know the difference between when their parent is healthy, when their parent isn't. They know that they can feel that. It may not be as devastating to the situation that Pike went through, or a guy that was at the Francisco homes years ago and told me how his parents fought so much and they fought really violently. We're talking cast iron skillets, blood all over the place, that kind of stuff. And they would do it. And he said, but it was so frequent that if they got in front of the TV and they fighting and carrying on, the kids would say, can y'all just move out from in front of the TV?
Yeah. That's
Can y'all just move over there?
Became a
Was-
condition.
like, yeah.
Became a condition now. It's just normal behavior.
It was normalized
Yeah.
that men and women fight and they hit each other with cast iron skillets and make each other bleed. And no, that's not, well, that is not, we should not be normalizing that. And what happens is they carry that into their adulthood. The issue is that I am not a believer that people should stay in relationships just for the benefit of the kids. I just don't think so.
It's not going to change. What's
Yeah.
going to change?
And it's like, what benefits are the kids getting?
Yeah, exactly.
What
What
is
are they
the
getting?
benefits?
There's no benefits there at all.
There's no benefits. And
No.
I mean,
You know,
And only trauma, really.
that's it.
The only thing you're doing is inflicting trauma
So, hey,
when you subject them to that. There's the only thing we're going to say, "Fine."
My dad told me never hit a girl.
But then he hit your mom in front of you.
Yeah, but
Do as I say, not as I do.
I've always believed that since, like I told you, when I used to rob bars, I never took a nickel from a woman, never took a ring from them or anything. The man I stripped, I'd take him damn near to his shorts. I'd take his wallet, his ink rings, chains. But a woman, I wouldn't touch. I wouldn't think about it.
Yeah.
Because I always figured the first time I took something from a woman, I'm going to get caught. And
That's
I
interesting.
never got caught in the act of robbing
Wow.
anything.
That's interesting. And so I want to pause right there and say this about that concept. Believe this, the power of your thoughts are real.
Yep.
Because he was doing wrong. Straight up. I know he don't have no argument with me about that. But even in doing that, he had a belief that if he violated a woman in that way, he would get caught. And he never got caught doing it otherwise because he never violated the law he created unto himself. He set up a law and he lived by it. And as long as he lived by that, he didn't get caught robbing somebody. And that's very interesting, just the power of the mind, even in wrongdoing.
yeah.
Even in doing wrong, there's a right way to do some wrong stuff.
Yeah, because I used to rob at least one bar a week.
Okay, see,
It was like going to work.
let me say that's about that. That's one of the things that I think law enforcement looks at people in prison and they like to get this, the dumb criminal. The ones who were really doing it, in particular those that were selling dope and making a lot of money, they had to be real smart. It is not as easy as people think just to sell
Yeah.
dope. That is.
but you know what? You know what?
And Chester, and I just wanted to say your name, just I want somebody to know
Okay.
who's speaking. Go ahead.
There's one thing about that. When we was living a criminal lifestyle, or however you want to frame it, we wasn't really that smart because we wouldn't stop until we got caught. And then we want to stop. And then we want to change. Or people have, like you see dudes have hundreds of kids and hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's just sitting there. And then they get caught. So you're not really being that smart. You know what I'm saying? And then we glorify a lot of it the wrong way.
And you
So this one-
spend the
this one-
money like it's
Like water, but
Like
that's how you
water.
got it.
yeah.
But let me say this. I would challenge it this way. I'm gonna push back on it and say it this way. Those people that were making a lot of money, and I'm talking about people making a lot of money. I'm not talking about the little street,
Yeah, I know.
right?
Yeah.
But the difference is making bad choices, bad decisions, right? Because again, it's not as easy to just sell dope and make a whole lot of money as people think it is, right?
It's not.
It's not. But, and I definitely am with you about not glorifying it. Please, anybody listening to the sound of my voice, I am not glorifying that shit. It is stupid. Okay. Just in and of itself, just the whole thing, we're gonna kill our community. That's just not a good thing. But I still have respect for the intellect that it took for those people who did sell drugs, who made a lot of money. It's no different than the president of the United States grifting and stealing and shit
Exactly.
that he
It's just-
and doing. It's just a different way of doing it.
Yeah.
And the one thing I will say is, even like him, for example, the reason that a lot of people got caught is because it was that one last hit, this one last leg. I can't even tell you. Okay, so I have taught in prison since 2013, January 2013. And I can't even number the number of people who told me I was just getting ready to do this last one, right?
Yeah.
I was going to do this last one and then I was getting out. And the last one led them to prison. Or the ones who said, something told me about this, or where they violated that law that they had. So I have a friend who I went to college with. And for whatever reason, I don't know whatever reason, he started selling dope. Okay. After getting a college degree. Don't ask. I don't know. But he had a policy that when he would go somewhere, he would do his business and he would leave town instantly. For some reason, this time he didn't leave and he got busted.
Yeah.
And it changed the course of his life totally. He was never able to use his degree or anything because his grandmother got sick, and instead of him turning himself in for an 18-month bid, he went on the run so he could take care of his grandmother. Crazy thing is, she wound up living so long. I'm talking about, she wound up living at least another 10 or 15 years. He could have done that 18 and grandma would still be okay.
Yeah.
But again, it's the concept that I'm going to violate what my policy is that I've set for myself. And that got him busted. But again, I just feel like people make bad decisions and they want to do that one last thing. Because one thing I also know about people, the people that I know that have really made a lot of money selling drugs, they get addicted to the money.
And fame and stuff.
The money, how they get treated, all of that. They get addicted to the attention. But the money can be as addictive as the drug itself.
Let me ask you something. Do you think when you said that one last leg, do you think it becomes a lot of them just not so much greedy too, but they're just not satisfied? Because you psychologically put yourself just last leg. You see what changes. I got enough now. That last lick gonna change the whole course of my life. So I think it's just not being satisfied, just being greedy, or just not really understanding the consequences that's going to come behind this.
Why would you call it the last lick anyhow? I mean,
Because-
no, wait a minute.
Yeah.
If you was gonna quit, you quit.
You quit.
So you know what I'm saying? The last lick don't mean shit. You just did something that you've done before, and
that changed. Something did change.
they got caught.
But this is the thing. These people said this before they did it, that this was the last time. Now, why they said that, Pike, I have no idea. I can't tell you. I just know too many people who have told their stories to me, and this was going to be my last time. Or another thing is, somebody convinced them they had to stop, and somebody said, come on, I need you to go with me to do this last thing. I know several people like that. But to your point, Chester, yes, there is definitely an issue of because you were saying, what did you say? I just lost.
Not being satisfied.
Not being satisfied. Yes. I don't think it's a secret that Freeway Rick was one of the biggest drug dealers.
Yeah.
So I interviewed him. He was my subject for my first episode of.
That's what I was
Same
thinking
thing.
about when you talked about that one person told him,
Yeah,
it's
pretty
I
much.
need you for this one. You
Yes.
know about that.
The one where he been for a long time.
He quit,
Yes,
and
I
the guy
did.
told him,
time.
yeah, he told him like, man, all right. He told him I was done.
But he
was
did.
like, just help me get this one,
Yeah. I remember.
and I'll leave you alone.
He
Yeah.
absolutely said that. But the other thing that he said to me in the interview, and I can't wait for you guys to see Faceless Sacrifices, because Diane got to say quiet on the set. Anyway, so, and I see him, but when one of the things that he said to me was, which I thought was so interesting, is that some part of him envies his brother because his brother has the capacity to be satisfied. That very thing that you said,
Sure.
his brother has, and he doesn't feel he has it. Even now, he's still running. He's not doing illegal stuff,
No, I know he
But
did
he-
some other stuff real.
but he's still
He's
running
still-
at the
yes.
same
Yeah, then
Right,
yeah,
the
when he's
same
doing,
way
he's just
still
doing legitimate.
functioning the same way because he wants to do that. Oh, and I see Robert, I see you want to have something to say.
Okay, I know we're talking about, but I used to, some people like that, they're never content with what they have. So they want to go a little bit further. And what happens? They get careless. And when they get careless, you're going to get busted. But
Yes,
it's
sir.
not it's not about they have all these things that they're never content with what they have. I've known so many guys and they get busted right at the end.
Yeah, Yeah.
Because they want more and more. It's the root of all evil. Money is the root of all evil.
the love of it
Yeah. So
is the
that's
root of
just
all evil. And that's the thing, and it's that not being satisfied, like you said. But and like I said, I just thought it was so interesting when he said that to me. I was like, wow, like he doesn't have that ability to be satisfied,
No
right?
matter what he do,
No
he-
matter
yeah,
what.
yeah.
And it's the chase for that money.
And a butterfly.
So go ahead. What else did you want to say, Pipe?
I never had a partner. And one time, when I was working for vans, this guy got fired, and I went to his house, and he cried to me that he couldn't pay his rent, he couldn't feed his family, and I told him, "Could I carry a gun?" I slept with a gun, and I told him, "Let's go down and rob a bar, and you will pay your rent," and so forth. And soon as I pulled that gun out, he jumped up and said, "I don't want no part of this. I don't want no part of this." And it's too late. I got the gun out.
It's all in now.
Yeah.
So I robbed the place. I want to shoot him in his head, but his wife had seen me with him. Oh, I would have shot him in his head right there and left. And because of him, I had to leave the state and go to Utah. And you know how many IDs I had.
Yeah, they didn't even know who he really was when he got out of prison. He
I
didn't-
forgot who I'm signing. That's how many IDs. And I'll tell you something else. They were all legal. They were all issued by the motor vehicle, the Social Security office, all this. And people say, you can't. Now you can't. You get born, you get a
Social Security number.
yeah. But back then,
Yeah, you could
I
apply for.
tell them, I lived on a farm. I never needed one. My mom and dad took care of everything. And that worked all the time. And then all I used to do is I had a birth certificate that was handwritten. You know, my name.
Uh-huh.
I'd put that on a copy machine and run off 5, 6 copies. I'd add a letter or to the front or the back. I've been bike, Riker, all kind of stupid ass names.
That is way too funny.
And
But
then when I have to go sign something,
you got to remember which one you're supposed to be.
I forget which one I'm supposed to be. I'd have to pull my license out to find out.
So, but let me say, I want to make sure we get back to the topic in terms, again, if you think of yourself as a business, what must a person invest in you to be able to have access to you? What is it that you require? And I will say this too, if you've never thought about that, you should.
And you know,
You really need to think about it. Why? Because there are some people that don't deserve access to you. And there are some people that you need to limit access to you. I will tell you a short story about a guy I met and I didn't know really enough about him to give him access to me. I had questions about things, but I didn't really know enough about him to give him access to me because I have something to lose. I've worked very hard my whole life. Nobody's ever given me anything, despite what people might think, just because I worked for my mom for 13 years and all that and took over the organization that she was running. I worked for that shit. My mother didn't give me nothing. In fact, quite honestly, she was harder on me than she was on everybody else. So I earned what I have and I intend to keep it. And I don't, and certainly not, don't be offended, Joe, when I say this, certainly not for some dick. I'm sorry. Can't nobody love dick better than me. But I'm just saying, when it was to come down to it, no, I'm not willing to give up or risk what I've earned, what I've built. Because one of the things I've learned in dealing with people that are incarcerated is how easy it is to become caught up in a conspiracy charge. They created that and they decided that whoever, all the co-conspirators don't need to know each other. They never had to have spoken to each other. They never had to come to any agreement. It's just they had to do something that quote unquote furthered the conspiracy.
Wow.
And they get the charge that they get the time for the people that actually did it. So in as much as I know too many people who have gotten caught up that way, I don't play that. Okay, so I need to know who you are and listen. Let's be clear. I'm from the projects. I'm a project baby. I'm from the hood, right? So I just need to know who you are, what you're doing, so I know how I'm supposed to move.
Yeah.
Because I'm not saying I can't be around you. I just need to know how I need to move.
Yeah.
I just need to know, right? Because look, if I tell y'all this all the time. Sometimes you feel like that, sometimes you don't. And if it depends on the day, depending on the day you catch me, I might be game for some stuff, but I need to know how I'm moving.
Yeah.
See, I'm not young enough anymore to just do it thinking I'm invisible and it's going to be okay. Oh, no, I don't assume that anymore. I'm way too old and seen too many people go down thinking it's going to be okay. So now I just need to know. I need to know who you are. I need to know what you do. And I need to know how you live at some level before I allow you access to me.
You're not a cook in the first goddamn place.
No, I'm not. I'm
Right,
definitely
you know,
going to get up on
and
that line. I'll dance on that line.
You know what? You don't have to be a priest to get twisted.
You know, you really don't. You don't have to be a crook to get twisted.
No.
And that's because of conspiracy. And that's what I know. I think I told you guys a story before where I was young and one of my aunts, I didn't realize at the time just how close in age we were. But me and my cousin, we used to go stay with her for the summer. And that allowed us a lot of freedom. And so the summer between my graduation from high school and going to college, I stayed with her a lot of times. And of course, I'm hanging out at the drug dealer's house just because it was cool over there. We smoking weed, whatever, you know what I'm saying? It was fun. So I went back to her house one day and she goes, "Where you been?" And I tell her, she goes, "You do know that if the cops come in here, you going to jail." I said, "Going to jail for what?"
Thank you, too.
"Going to jail for what? I'm just in there hanging out." I stopped hanging out though.
Yeah.
I stopped hanging out. That was enough of a warning for me. But again, a lot of times, so you don't have to be a crook. Like you said, Chester, you don't have to be a crook to get caught up. And that's the sad thing. And then they manufacture stuff on you if they want to. And particularly for people like me, who through the years I've done when I did a lot of gang intervention work, I talked a lot of shit to the police. I would cause them to have to be honest with the community. And I see your hand, Robert, and I see you too, Di. I did a lot of, and I'll come right to you, Robert, in a second. A lot of things that I did, they would have loved to remove me from the equation because I held them accountable.
You exposed.
I exposed them and held them accountable. Go ahead, Di, what you gonna say? You still do.
Oh, I didn't know if you was asking me a question, but I just want to let it know what I seen with my
So I
own
still talk shit to the police.
Yes, you do.
Well, if they need it, if they need to be, they need to have shit talk to them, well, I'm available.
Mm.
I'm just saying, I'm available. Go ahead, Robert.
My battery is like at 1. It might be, I didn't even charge my phone today. I just look up there right now. It's at 1. So I got to start
It's
learning
going to
how to
cut off.
charge.
Glad you joined us, and we'll charge your phone up, and we'll see you next week. Okay.
Okay. Thank
All
you.
right. Thanks for joining us again. Welcome home.
Thank you for everything. We'll see you next
All
week.
right.
Bye.
Yeah. But again, I didn't know, but that would not have kept me from going to jail. It would not have kept me from going to jail. They'd have sent me then. And again, anybody at this stage of my life that I'm around, they would have no problem removing me from the equation and removing me from the streets so that I cannot, even doing what we're doing now, make no mistake about it. They don't want this kind of conversation and this kind of support. And where Pike is telling him, listen, go to the dollar store. You get more people. They don't want people coming home to have it easy or to know things. They want them to struggle. And because when people struggle, you're frustrated, they get frustrated and they tend to resort to things.
Things that's not right, making bad decisions.
I told you about them 2 cops that drove up by the house when I was living at Francisco. Yeah, they drove up there and one of the cops gave me the burp because they didn't want me in Los Angeles.
Oh,
They didn't want me in Paramount. They didn't want me in LA. But because I came from LA,
yeah. They couldn't force you to go somewhere else, baby.
yeah, I had to come back to LA.
Wow. Yeah. And so for me, I can tell you guys, for me, my love language is quality time. And in order for a person to have access to me, they have to be willing to spend time with me. I know that there's a concept that women want men to buy gifts and stuff like that, and that's nice. But for me, you could buy me a whole lot of stuff. It's not going to make me feel like I just want to be around you. I need quality time. I need to spend time with you. I need to get to know you. I need you to get to know me. I want a person to have an interest in me more than just my body. You know what I'm saying? I need a person to
Know who you are.
yeah,
Person.
and appreciate me for that. And then also there's one other thing that is a non-negotiable for me, and that's honesty. And a person is very easily and very early on going to show you who they are. It doesn't take long. And especially, I taught my son this. I said, listen, when you meet a girl, and I know a lot of men don't like this concept, but you want to get around her family as quickly as possible. Why? Because what you want to do is you want to see her interact with her family. You want to see how they function. If her family screams and yells and carries on, or she does that with them, that's what's coming for you. A lot of times men say, oh, I don't want to meet the family because I don't want them to think that this is going to be something serious. But I told my son, listen to her conversation when she's talking about her friend circle, when she's talking about what happens at work. If she's at work and she has a beef at work every day, and all her friend circle, she has beef and she got beef with people, and it's her, it's not everybody else. You learn a lot from people when they don't think they're talking to you about themselves.
So what you basically telling him is, man, pay attention.
Yes.
And you know what? That's some good insight right there. As us, men, we don't look at it like that as meet the family, because like you said, how she invests with the family is how she doesn't invest with you. It makes a lot of sense.
And how they interact with each other.
Exactly.
Because even if you go around them the first time, they may put on a good face with her, right? But then they still acting out with each other.
It'll start coming out.
And it's going to come out, but you get to see it. So I just encourage everybody, you want to see people in their environment. That's why if a guy, I've had several guys that will call me and they want to talk. But I noticed that if I notice that you're not inviting me into your world,
Something going on.
yeah, why is that? And so I just put you off on the side. And I'm not mad. I don't care. The biggest challenge I think I have is I'm okay with me by myself. And that's a very difficult thing because well, I don't feel like I need to have somebody around. That's man, woman, or anything. I am not a woman that says a woman doesn't need a man. That is not me. I do not believe that. Not anything in me believes that. I have survived without one. Lots. But if you ask me, do I think that a woman should? No, I don't think we should have to. But I also know that because I've been able to take care of myself, there's certain things that I'm not going to engage in and I'm not going to put up with because I do take care of myself and I take good care of myself. I live a good life. And I'm not willing to disrupt that for the purpose of having a man. I know people who put up with a lot of stuff just to say they're in a relationship, and it's just not worth it.
I think it's the insecurity that they have within themselves, because you should, like Lucas say, how I show up, this is who I am. Be who you are. Be happy with yourself. If you be happy with yourself, it doesn't matter what anybody else think. But you have to be on the same level as me. Like, learn who this person is. Let this person learn you. Get to communicate. Trust and honesty is the best policy. And if you don't have that, it crumbles. I don't care what you do, it's going to crumble.
Absolutely.
Rufus, I think that's a wonderful thing that you feel that way, as far as feeling like I don't need, I'm okay with being by myself. That's a wonderful thing, because that's how I feel too. And it's like the right person will come and fit that for you. You know what I mean? And that just says I'm not settling. You know what I mean? Because you know who you are, you know what you want. And and it's the same thing, whether you go and say hi to the guy and see if that's what it is. That doesn't prevent you from saying, hey, how are you? Whatever. But still, those principles are there. And he's going to show up and meet that, because that's the door that's open for you. That's the door that you open for. And somebody going to walk into that door. It's not like that person is not in existence or hard to find, because it's just the person that's comfortable with themselves too. And you have to understand that. And that's where I want my daughter at. You know what I mean? I want my daughter there to where it's like, how old is she? My daughter 39, 38, 38. Yeah. And her thing is that, but she's 38, but she's 2. So I called her 2. When she be telling me, Dad, I had a drink, I said, I'm calling the police. I said, what 2-year-old drinks? 2-year-olds don't drink. She like, Dad, I got 2 kids. I don't know where you got them from, but 2-year-olds don't have kids. So you
ever be 2 years old and
wherever. She's like, Dad, you just want me to be 2. You are 2.
I just say something.
Yeah.
She got 2, Dad. Just because we don't lie one to another here.
Yeah.
She's not 2 anymore,
I
Dad.
know.
But the thing of it is that I learned my worth.
And that's
And
what
that
it is.
mattered. And that I'll never forget to either how I was teaching in CIW, and I had a conversation with a guy. And right now I can't even remember who that was. But in the conversation, he tells me,
I thought that was a woman's prison.
it is, but it is. CIW is a women's prison. I was teaching there, but I had a conversation with a man.
A guard?
And the man, when I was at home, and the man started talking to me about how he really just enjoyed having a conversation with me, and how much he enjoyed just talking to me. And the light went off. Oh my gosh. Access to me has value. I ran to CIW. Y'all not gonna believe it. Because as women, we don't think, like, I know I was never taught that just my company has a value.
Yeah.
A lot of women who had fathers in their home and that kind of thing, and they were taught that. I wasn't taught that. My dad doted on me and stuff like that, but I always felt like if I didn't do a working relationship, we wouldn't have one. So with him, so I didn't learn that just having a conversation and being in communication with me had a value. I ran to CIW to tell the women in the class. They were like, what? What? Because they didn't know either. Right. So there are things, again, things like that that help happen along the way that let me know that there has to be some price put on access to you. There has to be a price for your time. I worked for lawyers for 15 years. Lawyers bill in 15-minute increments. They bill in 15-minute increments. So if they talk to you on the phone for 5 minutes, they bill you for 15 minutes.
No matter what.
If they send an email, they bill you for 15 minutes because their time, their conversation,
Right.
lawyers, their knowledge and conversation and perspective is their stock in trade. That's what they get paid for. So what's your stock in trade? In any relationship, what's your stock in trade?
And see, for me, to answer that question, it's open communication, open and honest communication, because that allows me to make a decision for myself.
An informed decision, right?
Yeah, they allow me to make a decision whether I want to be around here or in this situation.
Yes.
And I give that back. I have to be open and honest about, and then you determine whether this works for you or not.
I think,
And the other one is patience.
yeah, because I think, like you just said, open
Those-
honest sets the foundation.
That's my access.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sets the foundation.
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Di.
But first, it's first you have to learn to just love you.
Yep,
Stop looking for someone else to love you.
Yeah.
yep,
You gotta learn how to love you.
yep.
And the second part, like you said, being open and honest to you, to myself. I need to be open and honest and know how to conversate with myself so I can conversate with you.
Exactly,
That's
yeah,
good.
most definitely.
And you have to have a level
Yeah.
of confidence to be able to do that.
Yeah, and I have
And
to,
a level of self-love
I
to
have
do
to
that.
learn them 2 steps first. Now, if I learn those 2 steps, now I know because I spend time with me, I'm open and honest with me. Now I can tell you exactly what I want from you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I can't tell you nothing if I don't know nothing
No,
about myself.
exactly.
We
Yeah,
just be doing what? Nothing.
nothing,
Yeah.
wasting time, wasting each other's
Sad to
time.
be I'm mad at
Yeah,
you
it's-
because
Yeah,
I'm like, oh God, you don't understand nothing I'm saying. And you said, she ain't talking about nothing because we can't.
yeah,
But you gotta learn the steps first. You can't just run up there.
exactly.
You gotta start down here.
It's a
Take the steps.
process,
Yes,
it's a process.
You gotta learn to love yourself. People
Yeah.
don't even love themselves. That's why you have the situation that we do have. People stay here. Any excuse they want to use is whatever they use, but that's really not why they staying.
Yeah.
I'm staying just so I can say, oh, that's my man.
Yeah, exactly.
What good is that? Just to say I'm with him?
Yeah.
Just say we together?
False beliefs, all that, yeah.
In appearance.
Yeah, I gotta,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
gotta love
Appearance.
you.
Yeah, love
I
you.
look at the here. You know what I'm saying? I gotta take the steps first, but it's all necessary. We have to learn that we didn't know in the beginning. And
Right.
it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Nobody's wrong. Nobody's right. We just didn't know.
No.
But now you learn it. Take the step.
Yeah.
That's all I'm asking.
And I love that you brought that up, Diane, because the very first step must be knowing and loving yourself.
Correct.
In order to even be able to attract
Exactly. What you want.
love
What you
and
want.
acceptance, right? So Tom Cruise and Renee Zellweger did the world a horrible disservice on that scene where she tells him, "You complete me." That is some bullshit. In Jerry Maguire. And oh, you complete me. Horse shit. You better be complete before I get there. And I better be complete before you get there. Or it's not gonna work because I'm not healthy and whole enough to be in a relationship. I must be healthy and whole enough even to be in a relationship. And it's not 50-50. Everybody got to bring as close to 100 as they can to the table in order for it to mature into something. So that is a thing. And I had to learn to value myself first, build a foundation of love and respect for myself. Because that's another thing that people do is I was online and a lady was asking a question about how does she get her children to follow directions and do what she says. And as I was looking at what all she said, what I told her is,
Do you do it?
it seems to me
That's why.
that you need to respect you first. It seems to me that you have taught them through your behavior that it's okay to disrespect your boundaries. And so when they do it, now you're frustrated. But if I say to you, if I said when my son was young, and if I told him stop doing that, okay, he might get another chance. And I told you to stop doing that. And on the third, and if I told him, now if I tell you again, I'm gonna pop your hand or whatever, if he did it again, I gave him what I told him I would do. The parents that say, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and you never do it, what you told them is that your boundaries don't mean anything.
Yeah.
And that's even, I want you guys to hear me clearly, even in employment situation,
Your words don't mean nothing.
when you are at work, if you have a particular job description and your boss is constantly giving you somebody else's work, I don't say don't do it. I say pull them aside later and say, hey, if I'm gonna keep doing this other work over here, then I need to be compensated for that. Okay. I say that because I don't not do the work. Why? Because you want to learn something. You're going to learn how to do something else in a job. The more you know in a company and how to do things, the more valuable you become to an employer. But at the same time, you're not in slavery. So you don't have to do something just because they sign your check. If you have a job description and you know what your duties are, and if you're doing something consistently, it is okay. I will tell you this, just don't do it in front of other people. And the other thing I say is don't talk to your coworkers about it. Talk to the people who can make a difference or who can make a change. But you say to them, hey, this is what I was hired to do. This is what I've been doing, and keeping records of that stuff, keeping track of it, and being able to say to them, I feel like I should be compensated for this because this is not a part of what I originally was hired to do. And I don't mind doing it. I just feel like I should be compensated.
So you get the understanding.
Yes, and you're communicating and you're asking to be paid for the value that you're contributing. And nobody can be angry at that. Now, they don't have to agree. But at that point, you also know, okay, so they're willing to use me for something and not pay me for it. I need to leave these people.
I need to
because
make a decision.
I need to make a decision. I'm gonna stay or I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna stay here, I'm gonna stay. I'm not gonna whine and complain. But I'm not gonna. But then do I leave and go find somebody that really appreciates my
I'm
life?
not gonna devalue myself.
Exactly, Diane.
What I was saying about healing, you're never actually healed.
It's a process.
Healing is just, it gets to a place where you can manage it. You can move forward. It doesn't hold you back. It keeps, the healing process is to make sure you don't make that same mistake again and again. It just goes where you can manage it better. You can feel better. You don't break down and cry every time somebody bring it up.
Yeah.
You go always be in a stage of healing if that's what you really want to do. It just gets easier to manage the pain, the disappointment, the memories of it. It just gets easier to manage. You're always going to be there because something actually did happen to you. So you're going to always be there.
I think too, she hit it right on the head because that's how you grow. Even when you take classes, that's how you grow. You learn to manage your shortcomings. You learn to manage it. They don't always be fixed, but I know how to mess up. I got anger. I manage my anger when I get mad. So yeah,
So that it doesn't have adverse effects on the
exactly.
rest of your life.
Exactly. It doesn't control me.
That's the
Yeah.
thing. And when you were talking, one of the things I was thinking is there's a level of healing where it no longer has the power to hurt you anymore. That's when you've reached the best that you're going to reach as it comes to that. It will never feel good that those things, whatever that is,
You're never going to
happen.
forget that.
You'll never forget
you're
it.
not
No,
gonna
and nobody should expect you
Yeah,
to
you're not
forget
going to forget it.
However, when I recognized for myself when I was able to talk about my ex, the most painful relationship I had ever been in. And it didn't hurt anymore. I wasn't upset about it. I also didn't have any shame anymore either. Because that was another big thing that I had, was shame that the relationship didn't work. Because I thought somehow I should have made it work. Because remember, I thought I was supposed to do all the work, and if I didn't do it, it would work based on my dad. But I realized when I could talk about it, and I could talk about the things that he did that were horrible, walking up in Bible study with another woman and stuff like that. It was some way out stuff, right? But when I could talk about it, and it didn't have the power to hurt me anymore. It didn't have the power to change my mood anymore. That's what I considered I've healed from that, or I moved on from the situation, because it no longer has power over me. And the thing that we always want, and this is the thing that's interesting about that too, is the reason that he was able to hurt me so bad is because I gave him the power. I had turned over my power to him. And that is what I needed to take back. I needed to control me, not him. I needed to control me and how I function. And I learned from that it is my job to protect my heart. Nobody else is responsible for that. That is not anybody else's job. So anything to do with me, I'm responsible for that. I have to take responsibility for that. I have to make choices that are in my best interest. And if I'm not making those choices, when it goes bad, then I can't cry over spilled milk.
I learned a long time ago when I was in prison that, and certain things just stick with me. And it's like what she just said, as far as I'm responsible for my own happiness. I can't look outside myself for happiness. If I can find happiness within myself, that's what you were saying about being comfortable with being by yourself. You just bring the rest of it. You just add to my happiness. But I'm already happy. Yeah, I'm already happy. I'm happy. I'm comfortable. I want somebody to share my happiness.
That's
if you want to share, I want to share my happiness with somebody else. But if it doesn't happen, hey, I'm okay.
Yeah.
And then, like you were saying, one more thing I'm gonna say is when you were saying about you feeling shame about the certain parts of the relationship and stuff like that. But when you got now, you got to find that place in yourself. But what I say, shame on him in the sense that I gave you all of me, and so it's a reflection on you, not me. Just like when you was talking about with the police and stuff like that, and people that does little stuff, and it says to me that it's just a reflection on you. It shows you it affects me and it hurts me in some ways, but I try to find out, like, shame on you for being that way.
Yeah.
Shame on you for being that way. It hurts because I hate it's bothering me.
Yeah.
But I'd have to find that place in me to say, shame on you. That's on you.
And you know what? When you said it, it's so true. My happiness is my responsibility.
It is.
That is not your responsibility.
It's not.
Did you want to say something, Fisher?
Oh yeah, she been.
She
went to Walmart.
I mean, she went to Walmart.
Yeah, she was looking at her water.
Yeah. She went to Walmart, but I saw her square line up, and I thought she wanted to say something. But again, it is my responsibility to be happy. I own that. And again, that's why I say they really did the community a disservice talking about, in Jerry Maguire talking about, you complete me, and that's nonsense. If you are looking for someone else to complete you, you are going to be disappointed regularly. You are going to be disappointed regularly because, and at a minimum, you'll do this. You'll have peaks and valleys. Why? Because anything you center on someone else means that your happiness depends on where they are, how they're doing, how they're feeling today, how they're feeling about you. And none of those are things you can control.
Because you're not really valuing yourself. But you give somebody else
Like I
that.
said,
You gave them the
you can't
power.
control
Right
that.
there.
And you
If
gave them the power, and you
man,
can't control what they do with it.
Yeah.
if that man wake up in the road with an attitude, then that messes you up. Man,
Not pay is bad.
you keep that.
Over there.
You keep that on that side of the bed today.
Yeah.
I'm finna go do me. So I'm just saying, I would find a way to find humor in that. That's you. Hey, I'm finna let you let that. I'm gonna let you let that thing over there. Keep that on your side. Maybe when I come home, you might be different.
Hey,
But right now,
we need that body pillow Roberta gave me to put in the middle of the bed. Okay, you
It's right here.
stay over there.
over there, and I'm gonna stay over here
Yeah.
with mine. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I want to ask, and I don't know, B, if you had heard what the question was, okay? Because I want to give you a chance to think about it before we and as we're closing out. What must a person invest in you to get access to your talents, gifts, resources, body, and love? And if you think of yourself as a business, what are the best services you have available to an intimate partner? Okay. So for anybody who's just kind of late to the game, what anybody want to answer that question? I'm gonna go around and give everybody an opportunity to chime in as it relates to that. Ms. Cheryl, how about we start with you as we check
Me?
out?
Robert?
Oh, okay, go ahead, Robert.
That 1%. Last.
He must have checked in.
First,
He must have
can-
plugged in. Go ahead, Robert.
can-
Tell me what you think.
Can you hear me?
We sure is.
Okay. I had a lot of codependency issues, so I can relate to what you're saying about giving power to other people. And here I'm thinking that love is to the sex, but it's not. It's got to be both ways, right? So if I give my power to another woman and then she abuses me because I have all these material things, a house, good job, and all that, then I have to move on to another woman. And that's how I live my life. When I came to California from Texas after my dad passed away, I was 15 years old. So I had a lot of abandonment issues. So I always try to find a woman that I could relate to. But here I'm thinking that it's love, but it was only for sex. As I got older, the domestic violence was a part of my life. I didn't even think about it, but it was. And after a few arrests, and then my crime got worse and worse. My alcoholism and my drug addiction got worse and worse. And then I'm here listening to these stories. I can relate to them.
Yeah.
And I wish it could have been a different outcome, but fortunately, I learned from my mistakes, and I have to humble myself and just accept my fate for now. But I won't repeat it again because I've taken many classes on unhealthy relationships and domestic violence, and I understand where you're coming from, where a man will take advantage of a woman, and especially an educated woman like yourself. And if two people can't find a connection with similar education or values, then it's not going to work. It's not going to work. So that's what I get out of that.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm so glad. And I'm so glad you were able to hang with us to the end. Miss Ward.
Just the whole overall thing, I wanted to say stuff, but there's so much to say with that because everybody doesn't come from the same. Some people had fathers who were total alcoholics, so you didn't have a man in your life. And like as with me, I sought older men to date because I never really had a father. And but it's different for everybody. It's just different how you were raised, how your parents were raised. If they came from out of Mississippi picking cotton, how they treated you. If they were educated, how they treated you. It was really nice, and we probably should go back again.
Absolutely. We absolutely will. Miss Monica, you want to chime in for me, Miss Monica? Beverly, how about you? Yay, ladies.
Okay, yeah, I had to find the mute button. But what I'm kind of taking away from this is something you said about being it's okay to be by yourself. And I like being by myself because once I started loving myself, I like being by myself and it was okay. And my daughter be telling me, Mama, why you just sit over there in that apartment? I said, because I'm good. I'm good. I'm happy just sitting in this apartment. I got that. I kind of connected with you when you said that. Connected with what you were saying anyway. So yeah.
Absolutely. Because that
Yeah.
is the thing is once you love yourself, know and love yourself, but you got to know yourself first, right? And then once you know and
Right.
love yourself, then it does get easier to be by yourself. I think a lot of people spend a lot of time, Beverly. They spend a lot of time running and being involved in other people's lives, even if it's being of service. They do that to avoid being alone with themselves. And
Yeah.
it can always be like, who can argue with helping somebody, right? There's nobody that can argue with that. But when you think about it, if you don't know and love yourself, you're just in motion. That's not necessarily progress. And it's not that the people that you're helping don't deserve to be helped, but a lot of times people do that to run from who they are and the things that are the baggage that they carry. And they do that. But it took me a while, Beverly. But once I began to understand and appreciate my value and value myself, then I was able to, again, be by myself. And I think that's really a blessing. It really is a blessing. So thank you for that. Miss Monica, you still with us, sweetie? You want to check out for me? Tell me what you got from this evening. Okay, let's go on the road. B, anything for you?
Yeah, I was down there on the way here listening, and there was a lot of nuggets that I thought about. But to answer your question in a very poignant way, what I value is sex and kind words.
Okay.
That's all you need to get my attention. If we can be intimate,
Being honest, he said, that's pretty right.
because I have everything else I need. Like,
Okay.
so,
I get you.
well, for me, that's what I value. I don't need gifts. I don't need quality time. I don't need anything else, but just the support when you can call and somebody says, damn, you're doing a good job, or you transitioning back and I'm proud of you.
That's words of affirmation. Ladies and gentlemen, four agreements, those are words of affirmation.
Positive words after me.
Yes, which is a great thing, right? For the people, if you've never read the book, Four Agreements, I advise not that too, but the 5 love languages. I strongly suggest people, because I was able to hear that from what he was saying, even if he didn't put it in those terms. That is your love language, which makes totally that and
Physical touch.
touch and love language and words of affirmation. And so those are things that makes sense to me because again, those are love languages, very distinct love languages.
And then the other thing I'm actually probably the opposite. I value as an orphan, and to folks' points, it depends on where you come from, right? And so as an orphan, I was always alone. And so I actually value and enjoy being alone more than I actually enjoy being around other people. And so I actually have to learn how to value and love being around people, and even relationships, to the point where it's been a blessing to have my daughters, because I'm starting to learn to love to be around other people, just because the dynamic is different, right?
Oh yeah, with your daughters, and then a guy with a man with his girl.
Yeah, and so I just think that But through that relationship, I think I am learning how to value other people's opinions and spending time with people versus like typically me, I'm cool with being in a room by myself in a computer and just working. But it's a little bit different. Or even driving trucks, like I'm okay with just being in a truck by myself.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And what I really appreciate that about it is the differences among us, but keeping in mind that the principles are the same. The principle is there are things that he needs and he knows what they are. He knows what they are, right? Not that what we say about wanting to spend time with is no, that's not for him. He's a different human being, and he's had to Cheryl's point, everybody comes to the table different. One size does not fit all, and it doesn't invalidate anybody's position. And it was great. I absolutely love that you have that different perspective, because people who are listening, we never want you to walk away from here feeling like there's only one way to have a thought.
fits all. No,
Yeah, one size fits that perfectly, Rufus. One size fits all, because it doesn't.
yeah.
And we're all individuals. So that was awesome. What about you, Pike? You still wouldn't be anything what you want to take away from tonight? Because you're too damn old to be bothered with somebody. So I know you got what's somebody that
What I'm gonna say, I'm 77, and I haven't had sex in almost 50 years. So,
Mhm.
like I told you before, I was scared when y'all were talking about getting a hooker for me, because I figured my thing's too short, and I didn't want to be that fat.
Here's my belt.
Listen, hey, but guess what? But let me tell you this though.
Never too short for a hooker.
Remember he said he didn't want to let her down, and she's not a hooker. It wasn't going to be a hooker. We were going to get you somebody substantial there.
Thank you.
Listen, that's what Brissa just said. It's never too short for a hooker. Listen, because all she wanted was a money. Don't let it matter. She just- Listen, and that's why we was supposed to get a hooker. But listen, how long in the money?
How long is that?
The money, listen, the tool is irrelevant as long as the money long. Money everything. For anybody that didn't know, that might be listening, just so you know, then don't worry about it with the hooker. She don't care. No,
That's not
okay.
That's
She's
not her
trying to take
job.
you home, and
That's not her job.
your thing is as long as your money. Okay.
That's right.
Now we learned that. See, we learned something. What did we learn today, class? Okay. Now we caught up. Okay. But the other side of it is though, but Mike, even still, even if you're not having sex, there are things that you needed that people need to do to be around you, right?
Yeah.
So there are some people you just not fooling with because you think they're full of shit. I know you well enough to know, don't be full of shit around here. And if you can't handle being told straight out,
You know, I get in more trouble lately and not trying to do anything stupid. But it seems like the last few months, I get my ass chewed out like you wouldn't believe.
it is what it is. That's the nature of being in a relationship with human beings, right? So everybody is who they are. Chester.
Me, personally, I value myself more than anything. I'm gonna put myself forward, you know. What you get with me. I'll make myself happy, because I come too far to go backwards. So, you know, I can be by myself. I have been by myself for 28 years.
Yeah. One of the things I want to say about that too is some people may hear that and think, oh, that's selfish. But what I will tell you is this: selfish is okay, self-centered, where the only thing that matters is you. I have learned the distinction between the two, and they may sound the same thing, but they're not. But you cannot be good to anybody else if you're not true to who you
She said, it's right. I have to be good to myself.
You have to. And the better you that you are to you, the better you can bring toward any relationship.
Because when I was in my transition of changing, I told myself I had to change for me. I couldn't change for my son, for my woman, none of that. I had to change for me to be a greater person to them.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Rufus.
Like I said, mine was just open
Yeah.
communication and honesty, and then patience. It is just whether I'm having patience with you or you having patience with me. But I need that open and honest communication so I can make informed decisions for myself and you can make informed decisions for yourself. Because there shouldn't be no excuses here. I'm giving it to you. You make decisions. If it ain't for you, then it ain't for you.
And that's okay,
Yeah.
right?
It's totally
It's
okay.
totally
It's
okay.
okay. We can't.
It is totally
It's
okay.
like we can't put a round peg in a square hole or a square peg in a round hole. So if it's okay, if it's not meant to be, it's just not meant to be.
That's okay. And may not be that thing.
So I've been patient with you about the neck bone. So
Okay, you know what? I'm finna go. You're gonna eat them too. I'm finna go.
Thank you.
Take my mother to the store and we're gonna get the stuff. Cause I already told her she's just gonna make it.
No, I'm just saying, you're talking about patience. I'm making sure you hear what I'm saying.
It's over that door.
Open communication. So I'm doing that. I'm to make sure I hit all the points.
Shut up, children.
We got it. Don't trip. It's coming. It's coming. I'm gonna just, and he'll tell you. My mother cooked.
Man, she buying, boy.
We don't know. We don't know here. Okay. Okay. Over here, we don't know.
I'm just saying.
So what had happened was what had happened was one time Rufus told us about some neck bones and we like neck bones and we were supposed to get a pot of neck bones and the neck bones ain't happened. And Diane just said, I've been patient. Okay. And so this is how healthy relationship and healthy communication works, right?
I'm doing
So you see this and you see it in action in here so that we don't have no further misunderstandings, right? And they don't have to be mad. She's communicating. That's all. She has exercised. Let me just say this. She has exercised patience in this circumstance, and now she wants to access them damn neck bones.
That's all.
Got it? Then there we go. And you see how that worked out, and everybody say, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
So hi, honey. Can you go ahead and tell us what you got out of this evening? Unmute for me.
Hi, everyone. Patience is a virtue.
What did you say, Monica?
Patience is a virtue.
Ooh, yes. Yes, that and more.
I don't have any
That and
patience.
more. So did you enjoy this evening, honey?
Yes, I did. I came in a little late because I fell asleep.
Yeah, and I wasn't sure, and that's what I was getting ready to say. So we didn't get your check-in, but how you doing today, babe? You good?
I'm good.
Good. I'm
I'm
so
good.
glad to have you always.
Thank you.
Miss Di.
Well, for myself, like I said, being honest with yourself. For me, being in a long-term relationship and marriage, it took me time to adjust just being with me. And if you want to call me selfish, that's fine. But I am very selfish with myself. I'm very selfish with my time. I'm just very selfish overall now because I gave a lot to people. So now I don't have patience for that. I just have more patience for myself. And sometimes I might come off a little rude or a little disrespectful if that's how you feel, okay. But that's not how I'm trying to come across to you. I just took time enough to fall back just to be with me and enjoy myself because I've been around people my whole life.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So it took me a while to even understand just that it's little pieces. Dang, okay, this is really how you live. But now I'm okay with just being with me. I'm more comfortable being with me, and I'm happy being with me.
And I was gonna say, you not only, and I see your hand, Cheryl, but not only were you in a long-term marriage for a long time, but even as a child and all throughout your life, you have always been around a lot of people, right? So that concept of being alone, then you start having children and you got married pretty young, right? So your life has always been around people. But Miss Cheryl, I don't want you to forget what you were going to say, so go ahead. That's one thing you said to another child. Go on with yourself.
So when Diane said you can call me selfish if you want, it doesn't matter what anyone calls any of us. We're living our lives the way we've learned to live our lives. And people, they don't justify us. And that's the thing. Once you learn to be who you are, people are always going to say stuff. They're always, and who really knows you? You don't understand what I'm saying? Are they with you every day and know you like Noreen? No. So they can say that, oh, she thinks she cute. Oh, look how she walk. You know what I'm saying? It don't make no difference. I got care less what anybody say about me. Everybody knows me. Because they
But
don't
that's
know
what
me.
that old she thinks she cute. Me and my cousin had this saying, and somebody told us that you must think I'm cute, and you think I'm cute. Now, when we were kids, I know about middle school when we developed that saying, because we was both cute as a button, truth be told. But anyway, but for us, it wasn't that we thought we was cute. We just happened to be cute, and you may
Recognize
it, right? And you recognize it, and okay, you know what I'm saying. But that's not a bad thing. I'm so grateful for all of us being here. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your input. And anybody, if you please check us out on YouTube, check out our previous videos, YouTube Free to Heal LA on YouTube. Leave us comments. Check us out. Let us know if there's any topics you want us to talk about or discuss. And we'll be happy to have you guys. And we really appreciate you guys. And we'll see you guys next week. Okay?
Bye.